Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday, it's April the 10th. I'm going to go ahead and do a real quick chart lesson this morning. I traded for a couple of hours, and then I had some other business to take care of, and I've, I'm leaving town. I'm leaving town this afternoon, but I'm going to go ahead and do a real short, quick, to the point video just to show you what I saw. For those, I know a lot of you like to see if you're seeing the same thing I saw. So, definitely won't be a video tomorrow. I'll be traveling. I'll be out of town, and this one's probably going to be really quick. I promised my wife I'd be out of here by no less than 12:30, so I got about 30 minutes to do this video and get it uploaded too. So I'm going to make it quick. Show you what I saw. Um, it looked a lot like a trading range early on. When I first came in, we were kind of working this trend up already here. This was the first trade I saw, and this one was a little bit aggressive because you did have this trend line right here, and you had to move down. You really had this trend working down, then a break, and then a move to a new low. But who's to say you didn't have a bigger trend here? And we did get a break, and it tried to go lower and then went up. And there were some news items today, and that actually the unemployment. There wasn't any big news today. Um, So, this sell-off is kind of interesting. I guess we're just taking back what we took, what we had to the upside yesterday. So, but really early on, it looked like a trading range. But I was looking at this originally when I came in. You could only see this right here, and it looked like, we were going to work back up to the upper side of the range. So when this bounced right here where that line was, aggressive traders going to look at that, and I liked it. It's aggressive because it's a first entry, but notice that gap there. I figured we're probably going to at least go back and fill that little gap. And you see on the very next bar, we filled that gap, and then it tried to turn back down again. So it was a nice scalp, but then it bounces right off that line again, and then you get a little inside bar. So now you get a second entry long, counting off the high or the low. New high, first entry pullback, and now the line's confirmed, and you get another bounce off of it. There's plenty of room to get out, so I like that trade as well. And it took it a minute to work on out. Then there's a failed second entry short here that bounces off of it again. Um, and actually, that's not a failed. Well, it didn't break lower, so that's really not a failed second entry short. So it's just another little pullback. And there's not enough room to get out, so I wasn't crazy about taking that one. Um, and if you took it, you probably would have got burned. And so and really by the time it triggers, there's one, two, three, and there's four bars. And if you did take it when this one didn't go higher and ended as a doji right across that high right there, you got to be a little bit leery. And we did have an overshoot here too, so sometimes that will reverse the market, or it's like a trend line break. And but I don't want to get into that. That gets a little too complicated, and that confuses people. But you got your break here. You got a first entry pullback. You got your second entry right here. Um, I didn't necessarily like this one and went back and forth about whether or not to make it green or blue. But it's a second entry long. It's the first break. Um, there's enough room to get out here if you use a limit order. So basically, based on that limit order, I need to make this green. I'm going to change it. I don't think you can take a stop right there. So you got to use a limit order. So it's a little bit more aggressive trade. And, it does end up working out. You have to ride that out. So looking back at it, it's a little aggressive. And then you get your new high, and, there's a first entry short here, so of course that's aggressive. But if you look at this, I can never grab the right line with this thing. It's a little trap, a little failed break lower. And if it would have turned straight down, maybe I would have liked it even better. But you get some overlapping bars. But the reason is that people are still trying to buy. But we've had our trend line break. And notice how there's a measured overshoot here, a measured overshoot there. That tells you your channel is most likely right there. And so now you got a couple legs up to a new high, it looks more like a trading range really at this point than it even does a trend. And so we're probably headed to the other side. You don't know that it's going to drop straight down like that. You're better off to wait on a second entry, but you never get one. It goes straight to the other side, and then it kind of bounces. And I didn't like going long here because you needed like a little breakout pullback, and you never got that. Notice it breaks out, it pulls back, and you would think you were going to get one here, and it never breaks higher, and it just goes lower. And then you got two legs down, and you got two legs. You got one leg, and then you got your second leg. And it didn't quite get a measured leg, but you've also got this leg and then this leg, and that's a perfect, well, it's not quite a measured one either. But it's a failed break below all these lows across here. And the odds are it's going to snap back, and there's enough room. It really looks like a trading range now. You can see prices swinging back and forth. So just go long there. And guess what? You should have drawn this trend line, then it bounces right off there. And there's actually a failed, you tried to go higher once, twice, three times there. So the real aggressive trader probably would have gone short there because that kind of confirmed the trend line. You got your first two swings, and then you touched it once, twice, and then even a third time. And so a real aggressive trader would probably go short there. I liked waiting on a little pullback. It's like a breakout. This is like a breakout pullback, but then you get a second entry short here. And again, it's not a real great setup, but it comes right off that trend line again. So I liked it at that point, and you might have even waited till here to enter because it breaks lower and comes back down again. But then you're getting way on down here. So this was kind of like the pullback to the trend line, and then you come, to the EMA and the trend line really. And so I liked going short off that because this is pretty much looking like a good trend line at that point. And originally I had this up here like so, and you can see it looks like a channel right there, and it even bounced there, but I've since adjusted it a little bit more. Midpoint's right in there. And then you get a little two-legged correction back here, and it breaks lower. Really, the entry's right here, but when it went higher again and then turned down, it's like a second entry off the high too. So there's a couple different reasons to like entering right there. And you really, what I would have liked to do, or would suggest you do, I should say, is when it breaks lower, drop a limit order in there, and you see it did come back, and it would have filled it same place your stop would have got filled. So it's kind of like a double clear. Sometimes you won't get filled on that, and look how it finally took off. You don't know, and now you're thinking, hey, maybe I'll get a measured leg like this right here. So you're looking for prices to come down here, and you're also saying, hey, maybe I'll get a measured leg like this, and that was what I was looking for on that move down. But then it continues on down, and then you get a first entry, pullback, second entry. Look how bearish that is, and it takes off again, and it actually pulls back again right there, and there's a failed second entry long. I didn't mark that one because I was already in that trade, but I don't think you can ignore that. I think you can enter again right there. And then you get a two-legged move back here. You got this little trend line, little channel working. You can see it, and you get the close outside, the move to a new high, and so I like that entry. I liked waiting on the more bearish bar here though, and all it did, because it was kind of overlap there, pulls back and gives you a breakout pullback short there. But I like this one because there's really two legs back up. So it's like a second entry on a little larger pattern, and then you get a little trap right there, and it turns down again, and then you get a failed second entry long, so a chance to go short right there. And this one I made green because there is some overlap. It's so close to this low, but we hadn't had a trend line break yet, and we're probably going to come to the other side before it's over. And not only do we come to the other side, it goes that much lower. And you can see that this smaller channel seems to be in charge because we've gone lower than this one. You can see that its prices are reacting to that line, but I think we're going to end up with a big overshoot and a correction here before it's over. That's my guess. We'll have to see. We could continue on down in this thing. And there's some other trades in here. I think after this overshoot here, I think it's really risky until you get a trap of some kind. And notice that new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. There's your great trap. That's the kind you're looking for. So I like that short right there, and you can see it took off real quickly, and um, then you get a second entry short right there. I don't really like. I think it's real risky going short there. But this thing could keep on going like it's real weak right now. So anyway, that's the last one I'm going to talk about because I need to wrap this up. And there it is. I did. I see where a lot of you have already downloaded it, but I did upload that. I can't even remember what it's called. BT opening range thing to help some of you with that. And let's put it on there. And you see if you had that on there, it kind of gives you that range. And you can see my lines are slightly different, but I don't use this. I use the visual, but this gets you to the same place almost. And you can see that. It's very close to what I had on there. So this thing seems to be, if it's helpful, it's there. I put it in the premium section. So if you're interested in it, go download it. Like I said, I see a lot of you have already downloaded it. So maybe it'll be helpful to you, when the market first opens to try to find that opening range. And you can see it was valid for a while. And one of the clues that this thing is going to go lower here out of this range is notice when we came off this low, we should have went back to the high, but we didn't. And then you draw your trend line right there, and then we make a lower low and then another lower high. And so we're working lower here and not bouncing like you would expect anymore. So that tells you that, hey, there's a chance we're going lower. You don't know that it's going to take off like this. You just know that you're working lower and there's a downtrend. So, and that's some of the clues. Lower high, lower high, lower high. And you're making lower lows down through here. Even though you kind of went into this range, you're still making, overall in the big picture, you're making lower lows and lower highs. And this thing is still trying to go lower over here. But I'm going to wrap this video up and get it uploaded. Again, it's a little quick today. I went through this stuff a little faster than normal. And there's some other trades in here, but those are the ones I liked that I thought met our rules, that were good trades. And again, early, a lot of these were aggressive. But, as you get better, you'll want to take some of those trades. And so I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac. We'll see you next time.